Accra Great Olympics were very resolute. In terms of possession, in terms of moving into spaces, Lions did what they did against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But Olympics were very resolute, especially Razak Kasim, who was very silent but doing the needful for Accra Great Olympics. So for me, it was a very good game. And I think Olympics deserves because they had their shots on target. And for me, that made a difference.
And Bashir Ford was complaining about the wind and the staffs in Sugar Cup. And I think when you go to Sugar Cup, you need to prepare for that because it looks like as it stands now, it could affect the away team because most of the home teams have enough time to prepare in this kind of situation. And most people are complaining about the weather and how the wind is.
You see, Bashir Ford is my father, he's my friend, he's my everything. Olympics doesn't train at Sugar Cup. Out of Lions, none of the teams train at Sugar Cup. Wafa is no more in the Premiership. And I'm sure the coaches are aware of the situation of Sugar Cup because they visited there before, right? So you should have known this was the wind. We're playing against the wind. How should we play? If we are playing against the wind, how should we play? And he should have been able to allow his players to understand that this is the situation. When we are playing against the wind, this is how we should go. In terms of sending the ball, in terms of passing, everything that needs to be done, they should have been taught. Because all the coaches in this country knows the situation in Sugar Cup. It's like Tema Sports Stadium. Down there, getting to the dressing room. The wind is very not normal at that side, but at the other side of the goal pole, anytime Gokel Ahoto takes a free kick, he will get his target because the wind also supports the kind of drives that you take. So sometimes when you're doing scouting, these are some of the things that you need to do. If only they have a scout, they need to have all these things. Even in Pandu, there are a portion of the pitch that when the ball bounces, it doesn't go up. Okay. So sometimes it does happen. For me, I think that...
Let's talk about this goal. I mean, for Felix remark yesterday, even though he appreciated Yusuf's effort, he said that was poor defending. But I think that was brilliant play with the first touch here.
Yeah, of course, it is a poor defending. How can you defend like that? The wind also deceived him. Yeah. And so if he has been spoken to, or probably he has improvised, he would have known that, look, that pass from the midfield to Razak Kasim would definitely not go beyond a certain level.
Oh, okay. Because of the wind.
So if they can go back for us to see that pass, because he felt if it had not been the wind, he's sending his leg back would have gotten the ball. At least a touch.
The pass.
Watch it. Just watch it. You see? Yeah. Razak had just a touch of the ball. Just a touch of the ball. And the moment he got into the box, the goalkeeper has already come out from his pole. He wanted to confront him. A simple chip. Unlike Cabrera when he blew that chance away, like sending the ball to the angels in the sky.
Yeah. But when you look at House of Lions game against Asante Kotoko, you can see right from the second half, the central defensive pair of the House of Lions team were a little bit shaky in their game against
their captain.
Especially their captain. Yes, in the game against Kotoko. So if we're able to monitor them and know how they play, you could see there is a major problem in the central defense area for the House of Lions team. And I think Razak Yusuf too is a very good striker and a movement striker. I'm just looking at this Olympics team when Michael Osei is fully fit and comes back into Olympics team. Is it going to be Yusuf, Michael Osei, or Yusuf Amwa? It tells you the kind of team Jimmy Kobla is building in the Olympics, and I think the Yusuf guy will add a lot to the Olympics team.
And coach, yesterday we saw a familiar face, Glasson Awako, returning to Great Olympics and starting his first game together with Entry, Kasim, Neti, and of course Samuel Ashikwe. Exciting partnership in that middle for Great Olympics.
Passing, intelligent, he's still there. Sunsumpe. Glassing of 2728 with Heart of Lions and Glassing of today. There's a vast difference. And he even sitting down for a very long time not playing.
17 years ago.
So that should tell you that Glassing is not Glassing that you know. So if you are playing against Olympics or probably playing against Glassing and you are not physical, he will play the game. But when you are physical, he will not play. But he enjoyed the game.
So he's now riding on the experience and
of course. I mean, just watching yesterday, he just moved, send the balls into space. Anytime he moves into space and he doesn't get the ball, he complains. He can't run as he used to. He can't fight for 50-50 balls as he used to. But dead ball situations, he will punish you. When you give him the ball, he knows where to send the ball. So if you don't want him to play, just be on him. And that's it. Glassing is not the Glassing. But I'm happy to see him back on the field.
Coach Jimmy Kobla admitted that he's a little rusty, and you can see it.
And I'm saying, yes, he's rusty. And these are kind of the games. These are kind of the games he will bring him up. Okay. And I'm saying that if, for instance, yesterday's game, if he couldn't have performed, and then probably the next game he does not perform, I don't think
he will still be in the team.
He'll still be in the team. So if the opponent allow him to play, then so be it. But if you don't allow him to play, he'll be out. Because yesterday's game, it was Razak Kasim. Anytime he loses ball, Razak Kasim makes sure that the gap between Razak Kasim and the two centre backs were narrow. So there was no any second ball behind Kasim that Lions picked. But sometimes, pivot and the defense, there's a gap. So anytime there's a second ball, the opponent picks the ball. But in this case, Olympics were so close. So it tells you that they manage the back, make sure that Lions will use their flanks, but through the middle, no way. But when the ball goes to Emmanuel Entry and then Glasson Awaku, watch the movement of Emmanuel Entry, watch the movement for Glasson Awaku. That's why I was saying that Lions, after conceding the first goal, they realized that they could use Emmanuel Nete's area because he was a little bit rough. Yeah. And they were using that side to send the balls in. But Mustafa Yakubu, for me, his finishing, his movement into the box, for me, it was no. So Entry and Glasson, so the moment you put pressure on them, you force Razak Kasim to send the balls away because he will know how to hold. If he holds and gives, and the second ball comes, Glasson cannot pick because you are tough on him. You understand my point? So for me, Olympics were tactically disciplined as what they wanted is what they had. Bashir first said he wants to come out, he wants to play. And that was what we saw them playing, sending back interpositional changes, the mobility of the players on the side of Christopher Neti. But how many shots were on target? For me, I thought that they should have tested Benjamin Asare, and none of their shots that they had went straight.
I think most of the times, some of the coaches, home games, they want to be more free up front. Away game, they want to be more consecutive. So I'm just looking at the Awaku's role in the Olympics team. Maybe for time being, he'll be more playing most of the games at home. In an away games, I think they will add one additional holding midfielder to Razak Kasim because in the home games, Awaku, Emmanuel Entry, half number 8, half number 10. For Entry,
so they are both offensive.
They are both
and it's just Kasim
sitting in front of the back four. Back three. So it means away games, you add additional midfielder to Kasim. But home games against Heart of Lions, you can allow Awaku and Entry to operate from those areas. Okay. 1 year out of the Premier League, Awaku will be a little bit rusty. But as time goes on, he will pick up. That is why yesterday you can see from his movement, the pocket passes and the short passes is the strength of Awaku. After 5-6 games, you will see the normal Awaku that we know in the Ghana Premier League.
Let's see, he's been out for some time now. But one person who doesn't really get the mention is goalkeeper. You mentioned his name, Benjamin Asare. He's kept about 12 clean sheets in the Ghana
Yes, but I'll give credit to the Olympics defense too. I mean, ask yourself how many shots went to him.
Yeah, yesterday he was on the virtual holiday.
Were feeble, yes, and of course, in as much he commands his defense, he arranged his defense well. I think Ugo Kripman has come strong this season. He has come very strong. His partnership are doing very well, and I think that the Olympics is not bad. Ashikwe didn't start in Sunyani against Bafo, but he started this time because of the three back. He's a wing back, either on the right or on the left. But I think that the defensemen of Olympics have been very resolute. They've been solid. They communicate very well. They make sure that even if you shoot at their goal, that shot shouldn't be a shot that should be threatening Benjamin Asare. And he communicates very well. He uses both feet. He's a very good goalkeeper in as much as there were not much pressure on the Olympics defense. I said that, look, Lions were just dictating the pace, having more of possession, but they were not doing what matters most by shooting and then following. What was Razak Yusuf? How many times did you see him in the game? But when matters most, that is where he showed up.
It seems the teams that have Lions attached to their name are more obsessed about possession, like Accra Lions, Heart of Lions. But again, you are a coach. They are in the relegation zone. Bashir Hayford has come in. They've won some games. Yesterday, another defeat. Does he go too hard on himself and say this is a game we should have gotten something for, or you think that as a coach you should look at the Olympics team and say, hey, they had enough quality, let's just move on to the next?
He did mention that the difference was the goals they played. Yeah. And I'm saying that yes, you can play, but if you don't shoot at goal, you don't have your accurate shots at goal, how do you score? That was why he said that he's going to work on his finishing. He's going to work on their finishing, their goal scoring. And I believe that per their position on the league log, they need to make sure that they make Pando a fortress.
Pando.
Yes, they should make sure they make Pando a fortress and at least fight some very hard points away from home. They should be able to come out of the relegation. So he's an experienced coach, and the players also knows what is at stake. In as much that they lost the game, if they should go back and watch the replay, they will ask themselves a lot of questions. Why didn't I shoot at this point? Why didn't I follow up? Why didn't I close in? You understand my point? So I feel that normally assistant coaches should be able to read the games and just let the head coaches also do a lot of. Orlando Wellington is with Olympus. He's been a coach for Bekum Chelsea so many years. He went to the States, he came back, and he came to work with Kotoko, with Zebo, and he's an experienced coach. So he's on the bench and probably he analyzed the game as it's ongoing and then tried to send a signal to his head coach, Jimmy Kobla. He will listen, and I believe that most coaches' work are done by the assistant coaches when the game is ongoing, because the moment the coach wants to make a change, he definitely have to consult you. You also need to consult and make sure that you read between the system and the kind of contribution those players are giving on the field of play. And so if you don't read the game very well, I always say that, look, if you know your opponents very well, half of the job is done.
Half of the job is done.
If I know my opponent that I'm going to fight, half the job is done. I need to add one or two, and then I'm good to go. And the players themselves also need to improvise. Look at Razak Kasim's goal. Was the coach who told him to shoot at that angle? No. He saw the goalkeeper, and then he decided to put a spin with power.
Yusuf, yeah.
Look at the second goal. We also saw Cameron also against Kotoko, the same position, and look at where he blew the ball. So sometimes the players' intelligence also comes to bear.
Well, let's see how things will go for Great Olympics and Heart of Lions. But today, the focus is on the Nsoatreman Sapakwe Nsoatreman will be coming up against Heart of Folk. That is the game in focus. Big one, as both sides are very confident that they are going to walk away with the 3 points. Now, let's start off with the home side in Nsoatreman. Maxwell Kunedu, the manager, very experienced. Heart of Folk found it very difficult to beat Maxwell Kunedu, but the last game that they played between them saw Heart of Folk win. These are the last 5 matches that Nsoatreman have played at home, and this is how it has gone. They actually won 1-0 against Kumasi Asante Kotoko before they also beat RTU by 2-0. Then they drew goalless with Heart of Lions, lost 1-0 to Karela, and that is the only defeat they've had at home in this year's league. But their last home game saw them beat Ediana by 1-0. So Nsoatreman are a very strong force at home. Nanedu.
Very strong at home, you know. When you look at their home games, this particular season, it looks like they've considered only 1 goal in their home games that they've played in the Ghana Premier League. So it tells you they are a very strong side. So when you are facing Nsoatreman at home, you need to be careful. By 3 games against Hearts of Oak, they are yet to win a game against Hearts of Oak. The last time Hearts of Oak went to Nsoatre, it was 1-0. Kojo Obin Jr. scoring that important goal for Hearts of Oak Football Club. A draw in Accra, and of course, a 1-0 win in Kasara Ramos this particular season for Hearts of Oak Football Club. So, in Nsoatreman against Hearts, they struggle to pick the maximum 3 points, and I think it's going to be a big game today. If they want to pick the maximum 3 points, it's today.
But why do you think Nsoatreman, after all these seasons, it seems that this is the year that they are most confident that they are going to beat Heart of Folk?
They have quality players, and they have one of the best coaches in the local scene. In fact, all share the coaches now with the local scene.
So that is the head-to-head you were talking about there. Yeah. Heart of Folk have been superior, beating them 3 times on all the 3 occasions that they've met. I think the first time was the 1-0 win in Nsoatre, where Kojo Obin Jr. scored that only goal for them. Then Heart had a 2-1 win at home. The last game was Kashala Ramos, who scored that 1 goal for Heart of Folk to beat Nsoatreman. So Heart of Folk reigns supreme against Nsoatreman, but Nsoatreman are very confident that, and that year, Yabesha has.
It's because of the kind of football they are playing. And some of their players are in top form. They are playing some good football, being motivated by the head coach, Maxwell Kunedu, and a key player like, Manaf Umar, formerly of Hearts of Oak Football Club, and of course, RTU. So, Nsoatreman this time around, they have that confidence that home games, they'll be able to pick the maximum 3 points. So, if Hearts of Oak want to go there and do well, they need to play beyond what we've seen in the first one. But in their game against RTU, we saw an improved Hearts of Oak team against RTU, even though people were complaining about the kind of preparation that went through to the RTU team before they were coming to Accra. So if Hearts of Oak want to pick the maximum 3 points, I think they need to play beyond what we've seen in the first one before they can get a good point in Nsoatre.
Now, Coach Hearts of Oak, Coach Watara Abba, the new coach, they start the second round with a 3-0 win over RTU, and they are confident, and also they feel that history is backing them because they've not lost the game to Nsoatreman. Okay, so this is the form guide of Hearts of Oak going into the game there in their last 5 games. Hearts of Oak have won 3 and actually drawn 2 and lost 1. They lost 3-2 to Kumasi Asante Kotoko before drawing 1-1 with Nations FC and drawing goalless with Great Olympics. But their last 2 games have seen them beat Bichim United by a 0-0 and a 3-0 scoreline against Real Tamale United. So they are also confident that history would repeat itself.
Of course, that is Hearts of Oak for you. I mean, they talk about history. They talk about games that have lifted them up. And of course, they are now talking about Ouattara Ball.
Ouattara Ball.
That is what some of the fans are calling for, because they beat RTU by 3-0. And not just beating RTU by 3-0. They've met 5 times before last week game. RTU has won 4, has drawn only 1 with them. So for them to come all the way to beat RTU by 3, that game that I believe could have even scored more than the 3 that they scored. Hearts of Oak have confidence because when they are going to a particular venue and fans of that team begins to talk, Hearts of Oak go there and then they make sure that they silence them. We saw Obin Junior's goal. It was a mistake from the goalkeeper, but because Obin Junior put pressure and didn't stop, when the goalkeeper missed the ball, he had a yawning net and then he tapped the ball in. Here in Accra, first time Hearts of Oak beat him as a coach, when Sadat Mohammed had the red card. So more or less 75 minutes was playing with 10 men from Nsoatreman, and Ramos' goal was an earlier goal that people thought that they were going to bury Nsoatreman, but they fought hard and they played. The reason why I think that Nsoatreman is confident of winning this game is the kind of success they've chalked away this season. They went to Bichim to win. They beat Brekum Chelsea. They took some vital points away from home, and they are playing wonderfully well. When you see them play today, Sadat, one of the finest midfielders that you can have in the league, is on the bench. And they have Nidachi Bote, formerly of Wafa, and then Legon Cities. I mean, Manaf, formerly of Hearts of Oak, is captain the team today. So they are full of confidence. They have Stephen Dio, they have Kabne Dumeda, formerly of Legon Cities, and of course, Eric Osebonsu, formerly of Accra Great Olympics. So this is going to be a very difficult game. But I think that they are looking at the man who is leading them as a golfer, that is Maswell Konedu. Probably that's the reason why they are full of confidence that they can beat Accra Hearts of Oak. But Hearts of Oak also have something under their sleeves. The coach has maintained the squad that beat RTU by 3 goals, meaning that he wants consistency. So let's see how it goes. They created a lot of chances at Accra Sports, but they were able to score 3. Whether they will be able to create more today, whether they'll be able to score more today, or probably get a goal and manage the game. It's going to be a difficult one, but I'm just looking at the centre man, that is the referee, to be fair on the day.
Hearts of Oak have not done too well, especially away from the Accra Sports Stadium, but these are the last 5 matches that they've played away from home. They drew goalless with the Hearts of Lions. That game was played at the Hohoy Sports Stadium. Then they won 2-1 against Accra Lions. It was home away from home, because that game was played at the Accra Sports Stadium. They lost 1-0 to Adriana. Then they drew 1-1 with Nations FC, and their last away game ended goalless against a Great Olympics. So they've not been too good, Nanedu, on their travels. But today, it is coming up against a side that has never been seen them in the Ghana Premier League. So they could look at this one with some form of positivity. I
think, they struggle to win games when the game is not being played at Accra Sports Stadium. Hearts of Oak struggle to win games. So I think one of the major tests for Ouattara is the game against Nsoatreman. Looking at the 3-0 that they got last weekend against RTU, I don't remember the last time Hearts of Oak set 3 unanswered goals in the Ghana Premier League. So once they were able to beat RTU by 3 goals to 0, the fans are expecting a lot from them in today's game against Nsoatreman. But we are facing an Nsoatreman side who are motivated by, Bafo, Ignatius, and of course their general manager Eric Alajidede and their head coach Maswell Konedu. So if Hearts of Oak want to go there and pick the maximum 3 points, they need to play more than what we saw against RTU. They have a strong team. When what their game against RTU, the 3-man midfield worked a lot for Hearts of Oak. Gledo Tanga, and of course Linda Intangi, and of course Salim Adams. The inclusion of Salim Adams added a lot to the Hearts of Oak team, and I think it's one thing that is helping them. And I see and Hamza Issa is working for them. So I think it's going to be a big game against Nsoatreman.
Coach, Nsoatreman have lost one of their most important players, Emmanuel Kote, to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But they still have Manaf around. How will the absence of Kote affect them? Because after the first round, many said he was the best right back in the Ghana Premier League.
He went to Kotoko and he's struggling to get a starting place. And
he's playing second fiddle to Justice Blay, and that is surprising.
Shouldn't be surprised. It depends why. Maybe the coach wanted him to adopt with Kotoko before probably start using him well. And I think that Nsoatreman has not missed Emmanuel Kote because they went to Beijing without him and they won the game.
Yeah.
So it tells you that they've not missed him. Probably they've got a replacement, and the player taking over from him also wants to prove a point that they have quality out there. So I think that they've not missed him, but House of Folk is going to this game. This time, not the 3 midfield, they're going to have 4 because Linla is probably going to play behind the 2 strikers. That is Hamza and Sisi. And that Maswa Kunodu is also going for a 4-4-2. So it tells you that this is going to be a midfield battle. But the one takes his chances. But I think the key players in this game is going to be Salifu and then Abdul Manaf. Formerly of course. These 2 players are going to make a big difference. Manaf is captain the team today, and of course, Kofi Agbeshima this time is captain, not Amankwa Befi. Amankwa Befi captained the team that played RTU, but this time the coach has given it to Kofi Agbeshima. So probably the difference is going to be Salifu and then Abdul Manaf.
Okay.
The one who is going to dictate the pace, who is going to carry his team on his shoulders and push the team forward. But hey, you cannot underrate Hamza Issa on any day. He's a tormentor. He's one player I've watched closely, and I think that House of Folk have gotten a striker.
Well, let's go through the lineup of the 2 teams because it's already out, and some interesting names in the starting 11 for Nsoatreman, who are the home side. They are starting with goalkeeper Dennis Voteri, then Abdul Manaf Umar, and formerly of Heart of Folk, is also starting, and he is the captain of the Nsoatreman team today. Walid Neymar Fuseni is also in the Kwabena Edumeida, formerly of Legon Cities, in the lineup as well. Stephen Dio is also starting. Mohamed Abdul Rahman, Philip Ofori is also starting for them. Mohamed Isaka, Eric Osebonsu, Ransford, Frimpong, Aso Kwa. And of course, Ni Jashi Bote Akwe is also starting for them. And for Heart of Folk, their starting 11 remains unchanged. The same lineup that played against RTU is what Coach Ouattara has paraded again. Richard Atta is in post as the goalkeeper. Then we have Kofi Agbeshima. Today, he's captaining Heart of Folk for the first time. Salim Adams, who returned to the club from Cincinnati, is also starting with Yao Mankwabefi in the grid. Jaden Otanga is also starting. Hamza Issa, who is Heart of Folk top scorer with 8 goals, is also in the lineup. Salifu Ibrahim is starting as well. Thomas Wenimi is in there. Sise Kasim, the Lanky striker, is also starting. Lendam Tage seems to be enjoying some good run under this new coach there. He's also starting. And Dennis Nkrumah Kosa is also starting. On the bench for Nsoatreman is Sadat Mohammed. You talked about him, coach. Yeah, he's on the bench. Obed Adria Amford is also on the bench. Morrison Anochi, Apetogbo Foster is in there. Makajekum Collins, Kofi Kujo. Makajekum, formerly of Ashgold. Yeah, I remember that chap. Very, very strong. Emmanuel Amwa, Farouk Omar, and of course, Richard Aqua. Then for Heart of Folk, they also have Issa Akuka Isifu on the bench. Sharif Shayub is also on the bench for them. David Opoafrane makes a return to the team, but this time he has a place on the bench. Michael Ampedu, who played almost all games for Heart of Folk in the first round, this time finding himself on the bench. Shuash Seidu is on the bench. Martin Kakari is also there. Enoch Subonti, he scored in their last game against RTU, is on the bench. Isaac Frimpong and then Ramos Kashala won it. So that is the dressing room of Nsoatreman. Their jerseys neatly arranged there. Voteri, the goalkeeper, is starting. Nija Shibote as well. So Nsoatreman are fired up for this one. They say that it is Operation 3 points at all costs. For Heart of Folk, you see their jerseys neatly arranged there. Strong lineup from Heart of Folk, coach.
Of course.
But I'm surprised Michael Ampedu is on the bench for the second time.
You shouldn't be surprised. Probably he's coming out from injury.
Yeah.
And the coach felt that I paraded the squad. Amankwabefi captain, he played well. At the unusual position, he played very well. I won the game, and I'm going into a difficult game against Nsoatreman. Probably the game plans fits Amankwabefi to start, and then probably what's the name? Ampedu comes on probably to do some kind of change or tactical change in the second half. So let's give the coach the benefit of the doubt. But I think that he wants to have consistency in the House of Folks. And that's Amankwabe that we're talking about. And then Suraj said.
Do you also think that with the hiring of this coach, Abubakar Ouattara, who is an Ivorian and speaks French, it would help some of the French-speaking players in the team like Linda Mtamge?
Of course. I mean, he'll be able to express himself. He will be able to express for the players to understand what he wants them to do on the football experience, and professionals to be able to understand what the coach means. And it's good. Ouattara speaks a lot of languages.
Nanedu, I watched Heart of Folk against RTU, and I appreciated why Heart fans were super excited with the return of Salim Adams.
You know, when you look at their team in the first round, they were lacking typical number 8 in the team. Utanga is a number 6. Abdulaziz Nuruddin is a number 6. Eric Esau is half number 6, half number 8. But he's comfortable operating as a DM. So they lacked that typical number 8, a player that when he's playing, he can drive the ball up front and shoots around the 18-yard box. And Salim Adams add that thing to the House of Folk team. So they needed such a player in their team, and I think that is what Salim Adams brings to this House of Folk team. Linda Mtamge is not a bad player, but he didn't get a good first round. So I think the inclusion of Salim Adams will add a lot to the House of Folk team, and I think it's going to help them, especially for the second round. We gather a lot of experience, both in the local scene, the national team, and of course, outside the country. So that thing that he has brought into the House of Folk team will help them in the second round. The only thing is, he have to play to instruction from the coach. He's a quality player. He can shoot from afar. And this dead ball situation in the local scene, he's one of the best players on a good day. He can add those things to the House of Folk team. So I think the coming back of Salim Adams will add a lot to this team. When you look at the House of Folk team, it looks like their strength now is their central defense, the holding midfield role, and of course, getting the quality centre forward who can score goals. If only the chances are created for him to score for House of Folk teams. I think they have a strong lineup, and I think with this inclusion of all these players will help them in the second round.
Coach, as young as Hamza Issa is key, is doing the job for Heart of Folk. I'll come back to that. But you saw Nsoatreman there lying somewhere around 4th on the table, yes, with 30 points. And a win for them would actually take them 2nd on the league log, and that will be massive for them. For Heart of Folk, they are 10th and cannot afford to be dropping points because they are in the second half of the table. The second half of the table, they would have to win today to make progress into the top half of the table. But I was talking about Hamza Issa, very young, raw, coming from Aras. All of a sudden, he is a very important player for this Heart of Folk setup.
Well, I think that he's young in the Premier League. At the age of 24, you don't call him a young player. If he's that young, he'll be playing for the U20, that African Games. He'll be part of. At 24, I don't think that he's young, but probably young in the Premier League and first time playing for the Ghana, playing House of Folk in the Ghana Premier League. I mean, I love my heart for him. I've watched him very closely. He's very strong, and he doesn't leave space for any defender. He's a very harassive type of a striker who always wants to score, and the kind of goals that he will give you, you'll be amazed. And for me, I think that he has good things for us.
But do you think there's work to be done on him with all the qualities that you mentioned?
Of course, he needs to improve in terms of his moving away from defenders. He needs to improve in terms of creating space for himself. He needs to improve upon his shooting, the direction from his boot. These are some of the things he needs to work on, and I'm sure the coaches are working on it.
Of course. So these are live images coming from the Nana Kramansa Park there. And there you see Jordan, the fitness coach of Heart of Folk, taking the players through their warm-up before the big game. We are about some 20 minutes to the start of this big one at the Nana Kramansa Park. So you see Heart of Folk there warming up. Salifu Ibrahim seemed to have come back to his old self there. I watched him against RTU and it was brilliant. And they do. I mean, when he's taken, the Heart of Folk fans say when he's playing well, the team plays well.
Even against RTU, it was quite okay. It was not an excellent performance. I don't know whether it's because of the contract issue, but he's a quality player. You remember, before the start of the first round, he was close to joining Nsoatreman until later parts. The management and the people around him decided he should stay in House of Folk Football Club. So it tells you, he's a player hope is at this particular second round, but my picking the form here. Now, so we stay in the Ghana Premier League, which might continue, or you go outside the country to look for other teams to play. So I think he asked a lot to the House of Folk team. He's the main creator in the team. When goals will come, sometimes it comes from him. So we House of Folk team now. A player like say Salif Ibrahim is a key player to the House of Folk team, and I think they will expect a lot from him in today's game.
Of course. So Richard Atta, coach, they say they're number one. That's why he's now the mainstay.
What time I will be 2 years. I think that he performed well in the out-to game. He made some brilliant 3 saves, and for me, I think that he needs to improve upon it. Atta is not a bad goalkeeper. Just that at a point he became so overbloated.
You don't think he's a bad goalkeeper?
No, I don't think so. I mean, a goalkeeper to be invited to the senior national team when Asufo go on under Samobodu, he was fantastic from Nsoatreman planners. I mean, for me, he needs to do certain things. I mean, to improve upon his goalkeeping. It's not a bad goalkeeper for me. He's not a bad goalkeeper.
Okay, so
but he's the last local goalkeeper to go to the AFCON for the senior side in 2021. He was part of the final goalkeepers that we took the Africa Cup of Nations. So rich experience in the local scene, right from Mina to Accra, so but during the first round, now you overbloated Kakra, but it looks like Gadwell in the moon for the second round.
Richard Atta is now the mainstay for Heart of Folk. But you see Nsoatreman too on your screens there. Manaf Omar, the captain for this Nsoatreman team, he will be captain of the side. Coach, Usha goes Manaf, he's their top goal scorer. Nsoatreman's top goal scorer with 6 goals. Usha goes outside the box, and if we leave room for him, I'm sure Heart of Folk will still have this fresh on their minds. The last time he scored a wonderful goal against them was in Tamale, that bullet of a strike. But the goal was usually outside the box. He has the foresight when it comes to hitting long range balls.
Yeah, if you had watched Sika Akono played, the size of Sika Akono will tell you that we won't even ball. But at the end of the day, he will give you that strike that you will be clapping for him, and that is Manaf. House of Folk knows, they know what he's worth, and for me, they know how to handle him, because when you leave space and give him the room, he will punish you. I mean, and for me, when Papic was here, he was using him very well until I don't know what happened when he has to leave House of Folk. And for me, he's a very good player, and he has inspired the teams that he has played, especially out-to-you. He inspired his colleagues, and now he's doing it for Nsoatreman.
Well, he's an inspiration to this Nsoatreman team. We are still building up to that big clash at the Nana Kroamansa Park. It is Nsoatreman coming up against Heart of Folk, and it's going to be an interesting one. We'll take a quick break here on Star Times at the Patch Channel 247. When we return, we have a listen to the coaches ahead of this big clash.
They are enjoying the.
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
The fans are loving you. You seem to be enjoying life in Nsoatreman.
They are enjoying the.
How are you? I'm very fine. How are you too?
Me too.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
You began your journey with Hearts of Oak.
It's match day 19 of the Ghana Premier League, and we are at the Nsoatreman Park where Hearts of Oak have traveled to meet Nsoatreman. The coaches are ready to tell us what they will be doing in this game. First is the coach of Nsoatreman, Maxwell Kunedu.
Coach,
Hello.
the fans are loving you. You seem to be enjoying life in Nsoatreman.
They are enjoying the way their boys are playing football, so that's why they are very happy and very confident as well.
But your influence on the performance of this team cannot be discounted, and you agree that the fans expect so much from you with your experience.
Yeah, from their point of view, I think we can't take that away from them. I mean, they have seen how their team is playing, how they are winning matches, and so has given them a lot of confidence. So they came in their numbers to cheer their teams up to try it again to win this point as well.
You have not changed too much from this team, from the one that beat Bechem United away. I guess these are your right guys for this game.
Yeah, we kept the same team we used against Kotoko in the former President Kufuor's Cup. And we think that they played well, and we watched the video over and over again, and so many things they did right, and we want to continue with that. So we repeated the same squad, and hopefully if they respond very well, I think the team will do well this afternoon.
It's a home game for you, considering the fact that Kerala is the only team that have recorded a win here. How do you intend to start the game against the Phobians?
We want to win at all costs because as we speak, Kotoko is ahead of us. And these are the things that we think about if you want to also be very, very competitive and be up there with the big boys, you have to be taking your points at home. So we'll try our best to try to win these points because the other big guys are leaving us behind.
You know, your centre-back, Filippo Fori, he's taken 2 red cards already in matches he's played against Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak are coming into this game with probably one of the best strikers, that's Innsa. Have you made provision for him? What have you told Ofori ahead of this game?
Oh, we'll go ahead and play our football. Normally, we know the football we are playing is very, very good. We've been consistent, and we want to continue with that. We are not singling out players to follow them around on the pitch. We will play our game. And hopefully, they will try to stop 1 or 2 guys that we also have. We know we are playing the free-flowing football, and it's helping us. I mean, when we get a good day today, I believe the boys will rise up to the occasion.
Will you beat Hearts of Oak?
Sorry?
Will you beat Hearts of Oak today?
We can't tell. I think at the end of the 90 minutes, the pitch will decide.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Coach. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very fine. How are you too?
Me too.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
You began your journey with Hearts of Oak on a very positive note by beating RTU 3-0 the other day. I'm sure your team is in a very confident mood coming into this game.
Every game is true. Today is another game. The past game is past. Now we are playing against one of the biggest team, the powerful team in Ghana.
I think we are good to challenge them.
So you tell me about Nsoatreman. It seems you have a lot of information about your opponents this afternoon.
Yes, I have a lot of information. Tactically, technically are good. Very good team. And you see the reason. He had the third position. We are in the 10th position. We are coming to play against one of the strong team of the Ghana football. Now today is today. We are trying to do our best.
Now let me ask you this. For a lot of Hearts of Oak supporters, they are very positive about you becoming the coach of the club because of your experience and what you've done in African football. Does that put some pressure on you to perform with this team?
I thank God. If us fans, I believe, so we can do something. The pressure is normal. All over the teams, we have the pressure, including you and your wife. Us, we have the pressure. The pressure is good for us to push us to make good the work. But I think for us fans to have confidence, me and the boys.
I've seen your lineup and you don't make a single change from the team that beat RTU. It's fair to say you don't change a winning team, but are you gradually finding your best 11 for Hearts of Oak?
Let me tell you something. We are rebranding our team. I use the same players. We don't have any injury. We don't have any suspension. But I think we can use the same team. Like Real Madrid are doing it every time. We're doing it.
This team and Nsoatreman have never beaten Hearts of Oak since they came to the Premier League. I'm sure it's a record you want to protect before you leave here.
We came here, we need 3 points. I don't want to talk about the past team. We are talking about the present. Today match. This is the match is important for us.
Hamza is your best goal scorer now. How important is he going to be to your team today?
All my players can score. Everybody can score. I don't need a goal king. I need the 3 points. Just like that.
Good luck, Coach Ouattara.
Good luck for you.
Thank you.
Coach Ouattara from Ivory Coast says that the pressure is good for them. He says that Nana Dakwai and his wife are even giving them pressure, and they appreciate that. But Coach Okadie Biwoho, very significant, or say this, they don't want to think about history. He's just there for the 3 points.
Of course, why should he always have to think about the past? He has to forge ahead. Probably he has come, he has analyzed Hearts of Oak maybe in the last 3 years to date, and he wants to do something new. So why should he always have to go back and then talk about the past whilst the present is there for him to discuss? So I think he made a very good point, and I believe that whatever he's doing, the Hearts of Oak faithfuls will support him.
I think he's a good coach. The way he answers questions, it looks like he has a lot about this Hearts of Oak team.
He even says he has a lot of information about Nsoatreman tactically.
That is the strength of a good coach ahead of a crucial game. When you have strong scouts, we monitor our opponents, we have feedback. You know where to punish them. You know, team B, no matter how it is, they have their strengths and their weakness.
Yes.
Even the Man City team that you see today, that they are the best team in Europe. They have loopholes in the team, in which teams find a way to the show. So I'm sure he has monitored this Nsoatreman team. Maybe he have a way to stop them, at least for today's game against them in Nsoatre. And I think it's going to be a crucial game for him. Or to make pick a point or a win in Nsoatre, I'll start believing him and have strong feeling about him, about how he will strengthen this Hearts of Oak team to the end of the season.
And Max Okredu also knows that Hearts of Oak have been very, very triumphant against them, and he wants to stop that today. Also, in Timim Kososa, 3 games, 3 wins. No.
First time I'm hearing from Hearts of Oak, rebuilding. You heard the coach say that he's rebuilding, and his team, no injuries, no card, no suspension, so he has to maintain the same players. Max Okredu, of course, he has played once with them. Twice they lost before he came, and he felt that the circumstance that made him lose that game at the Accra Sports Stadium, probably he's going to change today.
Okay, so we have to cross over to the Nana Kramansa Park for the first 45 minutes of this game. It is Nsoatreman against Hearts of Oak. Enjoy.